Today we're making a dozen sliders the fast way. The goal is to have all this come together in 3 quick steps. Let's see how we do. So step 1, we're gonna put a little bit of parchment paper because that'll make it easier to get our meat out when it's done. With clean hands, we're gonna take our ground beef and we're gonna press that into our perfectly sized baking tray. If you only have a larger tray, it's fine. You'll just not spread out the beef to the edges. You'll just spread it as large as your square of slider buns is. So now that we have it spread out pretty evenly, we're gonna salt it. And we're gonna pepper. And these are gonna become our burger patties. Add some diced onion. Just right on top there. And then this tray is gonna go in the oven to cook. I'm gonna press them in, press the onions in just a little bit. Now it's been about 15 minutes and I took it out of the oven. Step 2 is gonna consist of 2 parts. As you can see, there's a lot of juice that the meat has let go. So we're gonna have to drain some of that off because otherwise it would just totally make our buns soggy. So let's do that first over at the sink. Just with a nice big spatula, I'm gonna hold onto the meat so it doesn't fall and drain off the juice. And my pot holder's getting too hot. Each. Also, you can see that the meat has shrunk quite a bit. And then the second part of part 2 is we're gonna scatter some pickles on top because we love pickles in our family. You can obviously use something else if you prefer, you know, maybe sauteed mushrooms or something like that, but we're gonna use pickles. And then we're also gonna put on some shredded cheese. So now we're using the King's Hawaiian rolls for our sliders. Take these out, just like this. They kind of stick sometimes to the bottom. There we go. And now I'm gonna cut these in half. They have their tops and their bottoms. Might just go around in a circle. Okay. I think we did it. All right. So now we'll lay the tops here and we have the bottoms. And that brings us to step 3. So now step 3, we very carefully forklift with a big spatula, remember, your burger over to your buns, your waiting buns. Now we'll give it a cut. Carefully hold on to the top ones. If you have a really long knife, this would be a great time for it. I do not, so I'm using this, but it's working just fine. All right. A few final thoughts on this method for making sliders. 1, I would 100% do this method again. It worked really easy. It was far faster than making individual little patties and individual little burgers. 2, you have to be super careful when you're draining the juice off the meat before you add the cheese. On that step, just be very, very careful. Use a really good oven mitt and just, you know, watch yourself. And 3, use a pan for cooking the meat that's a little bit larger than your set of buns because the meat shrinks a little bit. So you just want to keep that in mind. It's going to shrink down. So that's it. Enjoy.